Hey folks, welcome to the stream and God bless each and every one of y'all. Today we're going to be reading the Holy Bible and we are going to kick off with chapter 21. So, last time we read about Jehoshaphat. He's the one who is after Asa, and Ahab asks for help, but after for help, I said after for help. After Ahab says, let's go fight these people. Let's ask the prophets, and let's ask Micaiah, even though he doesn't prophesy good about me. And he witnesses that failure is going to happen. Jehu comes in and says, how dare you partner up with that evil man? Do not do that again. And then Judah is invaded. He says a prayer, and by Jahaziel, or whatever his name is, he says, do not fear or be dismayed, because the Lord's with you. And then the enemies basically take out themselves, and Judah is saved. And, however, he makes an alliance with Ahaziah, king of Israel, which the Lord does not like, and thus ends his career as king. I hope that I hope he didn't rebel. It doesn't say whether he rebelled or not, like Asa, but I'm hoping he was blameless otherwise. So, yeah, folks, welcome in. God bless you. Metro, sup, pink man. It's actually red, but God bless you. Welcome in. Nomikomas. What are you even trying to say? Why do you keep saying that? Where do you, or is there something that I'm missing? Um, I've already said nobody's going to eat you. We're not here to eat you. We're here to read to you. Yeah, Metro keeps saying that for some reason because he thinks we're going to eat him. That's why. I don't know why. Chapter 21. Jehoram succeeds Jehoshaphat in Judah. Then Jehoshaphat laid down with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and his son Jehoram became king in his place. He had brothers, the sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariah, Jehiel, Zechariah, Azariahu, Michael, and Shephatiah. All these were the sons of Jehoshaphat, the king of Israel. Their father gave them many gifts of silver, gold, and precious things, with fortified cities in Judah, but he gave the kingdom to Jehoram because he was the firstborn. Now, when Jehoram had killed over the kingdom of his father, or taken over the kingdom of his father and gathered courage, he killed all his brothers with the sword and some of the leaders of Israel as well. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 8 years in Jerusalem. He walked in the way of the kings of Israel, just as the house of Ahab had done, for Ahab's daughter was his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Yet the Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David because of the covenant which he had made with David, and because he had promised to give a lamb to him and his sons forever. Oh, hold on. Let me get some noise here. Oh no. Um, Hold on. Um, Hold on. Revolt against Judah. In his days, Edom broke away from the rule of Judah and appointed a king over themselves. Then Jehoram crossed over with his commanders and all his chariots and him with him. And he got up at night and struck and killed the Edomites who were surrounding him, and the commanders of the chariots. So Edom revolted against Judah to this day. Then Libnah revolted at the same time against his rule, because he had abandoned the Lord, God of his fathers. Furthermore, he made high places in the mountains of Judah, and caused the inhabitants of Jerusalem to be unfaithful, and led Judah astray. Then a letter came to him from Elijah the prophet, saying, "This is what the Lord, the God of your father David says, because you have not walked in the ways of your father Jehoshaphat in the ways of Oz the king of Judah, but have walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and have caused Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to be unfaithful, as the house of Ahab was unfaithful. And you have killed also your brothers, your own family, who were better than you. Behold, the Lord is going to strike your people, your sons, your wives, and all your possessions with a great plague, and you will suffer severe sickness, the disease of your bowels, until your bowels come out because of the sickness, day by day." Then the Lord stirred up against Jehoram the spirit of the Philistines and the Arabs, who bordered the Ethiopians. And they came against Judah and invaded it, and carried away all the possessions found in the king's house, together with his sons and his wives, so that no son was left to him except Jehoahaz, the youngest of his sons. So after all this, the Lord had struck him in the intestines with an incurable sickness. Now it came about in the course of time at the end of 2 years that his bowels came out because of his sickness, and he died in great pain. And his people did not make a funeral fire for him like the fire for his brothers. He was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem for 8 years. And he departed with no one's regret, and they buried him in the city of David, but not in the tombs of kings. Okay, well, that's Jehoram, who irrefutably walked in the ways that the Lord had advised not to. And from what I read, I don't believe he turned to the Lord at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't look like he turned in the way of the Lord. So, yeah, not the best look on him. Sheesh. And then Elijah comes in and says, because he did this and that, you're going to be struck with an incurable disease that you'll die because of it. What are vowels? So he died, and everybody's like, yay, he's dead, basically. Or he's like, oh, he died. Yeah, whatever. He deserved it. Which, if he had acted accordingly for 1 second, maybe there would have been some pity for him. But alas, that did not happen. Alright, chapter 22. Ahaziah succeeds Jehoram in Judah. Then the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Ahaziah his youngest son king in his place, for the band of men who came with the Arabs to the camp had killed all the older sons. So Ahaziah the son of Jehoram king of Judah began to reign. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri. He also walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother was his counselor to act wickedly. So he did evil in the sight of the Lord like the house of Ahab, for they were his counselors after the death of his father to his own destruction. Ahaziah allies with Jehoram of Israel. He also walked by their counsel and went with Jehoram the son of Ahab, king of Israel, to wage war against Hazael, king of Aram, at Ramoth Gilead. But the Arameans wounded Joram. So they returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which they had inflicted on him at Ramah when he fought against Hazael, king of Ahab. Um, when he fought against Hazael, king of Aram. And Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Jehoram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was struck, or he was sick. Now the destruction of Ahaziah was from God, and that he went to Joram. For when he arrived, he went out with Jehoram against Jehu, the son of Nimshi, whom the Lord had anointed to eliminate the house of Ahab. Jehu murders princes of Judah. And it came about when Jehu was executing judgment on the house of Ahab that he found the princes of Judah and the sons of Ahaziah's brothers attending to Ahaziah and killed them. He also searched for Ahaziah and they caught him while he was hiding in Samaria. They brought him to Jehu, put him to death, and buried him. For he said, "He is the son of Jehoshaphat who sought the Lord with all his heart." So there was no one of the house of Ahaziah to retain the power of the kingdom. Now when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she rose and eliminated all the royal children of the house of Judah. But Jehoshabeath, the king's daughter, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons, who were put to death, and placed him and his nurse in the bedroom. So Jehoshabeath, the daughter of King Jehoram, the wife of Jehoiada, the priest, for he was the sister of Ahaziah, hid him from Athaliah so that he would not put him to death. He kept himself hidden with them in the house of God for 6 years, while Athaliah reigned over the land. Okay. So comes Ahaziah, who made alliance with Jehoshaphat. But he was evil. He also made war. He dealt with another evil power called Ahab, or Jehoram, I mean. Now, Jehu comes in and executes judgment on Jehoram and Ahaziah. So he has them killed. And then Athaliah, her mother, killed all the royal children except for Joash, who was kept hidden until 6 years later. And then Athaliah, at that point, reigns over the land. Okay? So, yeah. Ahaziah's reign, another evil king. Chapter 23, Jehoiada sets Joash on the throne of Judah. Now in the 7th year, Jehoiada gathered his courage, and he took captains of hundreds, Azariah the son of Jehoram, Ishmael the son of Johanan, Azariah the son of Obed, Maaseiah the son of Adaiah, and Elishaphat the son of Zichri. And they entered into a covenant with him, and they went throughout Judah and gathered the Levites from all the cities of Judah and the heads of the fathers' households of Israel, and they all came to Jerusalem. Then all the assembly made a covenant with the king in the house of God, and Jehoiada said to them, "Behold, the king's son shall reign as the Lord has spoken concerning the sons of David. This thing which you shall do, a third of you, if the priests and Levites who come in on the Sabbath shall be gatekeepers, and a third shall be at the king's house, and a third at the gate of the foundation, and all the people shall be in the courtyards of the house of the Lord. But no one is to enter the house of the Lord except the priests and the ministering Levites. They may enter, for they are holy. And all the people are to keep command of the Lord. The Levites will surround the king, each man with his weapons in his hand, and whoever enters the house is to be put to death. Therefore be with the king when he comes in and when he goes out. The Levites and all Judah did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded, and each one of them took his men who were to come in on the Sabbath with those who were to go out on the Sabbath, for Jehoiada the priest did not dismiss any of the divisions. Then Jehoiada the priest gave the captains of the hundreds the spears and the shields and the quivers which had been King David's, which were in the house of God. He stationed all the people, each man with his weapon in his hand, from the right side of the house to the left side of the house, by the altar and by the house around the king. Then they brought out the king's son and put the crown on him and gave him the testimony and made him king. And Jehoiada and his sons anointed him and said, "Long live the king." Athaliah murdered. When Athaliah heard the noise of the people running and praising the king, she went into the house of the Lord to the people. She looked, and behold, the king was standing by his pillar at the entrance, and the captains and the trumpeters were beside the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced and blew trumpets, the singers with their musical instruments leading the praise. Then Athaliah tore her clothes and said, "Conspiracy, conspiracy." And Jehoiada the priest brought out the captains of hundreds who were appointed over the army and said to him, "Bring her out between the ranks, and whoever follows her is to be put to death with the sword." For the priest said, "You shall not put her to death in the house of the Lord." So they seized her, and when she arrived at the entrance of the whole gate of the king's house, they put her to death there. Reforms carried out. Then Jehoiada made a covenant between himself and all the people and the king that they would be the Lord's people. And all the people went down to the house of Baal and tore it down, and they broke in pieces his altars and his images, and killed Mattan the priest of Baal before the altars. Moreover, Jehoiada placed the offices of the house of the Lord God under the authority of the Levitical priests whom David had assigned over the house of David to offer the burnt offering to the Lord, as it is written in the law of Moses, with rejoicing and singing according to the order of David. He stationed the gatekeepers of the house of the Lord so that no one would enter who was in any way unclean. He took the captains of hundreds, the nobles, the rulers of the people, and all the people of the land, and brought the king down from the house of the Lord, and went through the upper gate to the king's house, and they seated the king upon the royal throne. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was at rest, for they had put Athaliah to death with the sword. Okay. Okay, folks. Do we have any groups in here? Oh, yeah, Jay's Shorts. God bless you. Welcome in. He asks, play Ram Ranch. I don't have Ram Ranch. Sorry. He retracted his comments long before, but I was able to see it. It did not escape the cornea of my uh, of my eye. So deal with chapter, what's the name? Chapter 23 is Jehoiada. he takes out Joash in the 7th year, and he places him as king over uh, Judah. I mean, the covenant that everything that the follows what the Lord had instructed will be followed. When Athaliah hears that Joash is king, she does not like the idea, so she decides to prove that it's a conspiracy. But because of this, she's put to death. And then they destroyed leaders of idols and stuff and images. And there's a lot of idolatry here. So, yeah, folks. Then they decided to once again follow the law of Moses. Right? And thus follow also the order of David, which is to sing with praise and joy. Moses was about the laws and David was about praising the Lord, which I just discovered right now. I'll be right back.
Una persona de pícaro, su familia más pícara. No nos importaba qué equipo teníamos enfrente. Era un equipo diferente. Y a mí me hace eso, ¿no? Pero por un momento, doctora, yo el clausura 2026 sigue ascendiendo a la afición. Cada jornada de la ilusión, ritmo, grandes choques y los partidos que todos quieren ver. En Vies, disfrutas lo mejor de la Liga MX con los vibrantes y absolutamente exclusivos. La Liga MX juega en esta cancha porque Vies te trae más que nadie.
Mi esposo es incapaz de hacer algo así. Me tratan como mis maridos siempre han sido atrás. Mi hija desapareció y Marita se casó. Todo México va a escuchar. Vamos a encontrar eso.
And I'm back, folks. You guys. So yeah, chapter 24. Joash is made the king of Judah. Or chapter 23 rather. Athaliah is murdered, and they clean up to follow the Lord. So, folks, we will close with chapter 24. Oh, I'm gonna go dance on my own. Let's finish up. Real folks. All right, let's get that out. Chapter 24. Young Joash, influenced by Jehoiada. Joash was 7 years old. 7 years old? Goodness gracious. When he became king. And he reigned for 40 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zeviah from Beersheba. Joash did what was right in the sight of the Lord in all the days of Jehoiada, the priests. Jehoiada took 2 wives for him, and he fathered sons and daughters. Faithless priests. Now it came about after this that Joash decided to restore the house of the Lord. He gathered the priests and Levites and said to them, "Go out to the cities of Judah and collect money from all Israel to repair the house of your God annually, and you shall do the work quickly." But the Levites did not act quickly, so the king summoned Jehoiada the chief priest and said to him, "Why have you not required the Levites to bring in from Judah and from Jerusalem the contribution of Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the congregation of Israel, for the tent of the testimony? For the sons of the wicked Athaliah have broken into the house of the Lord and even used the holy things of the house of the Lord for the Baals." Temple repair. So the king commanded, and he made a chest and set it outside by the gate of the house of the Lord. And he made a proclamation in Judah and Jerusalem to bring to the Lord the contribution commanded by Moses, the servant of God on Israel in the wilderness. All the officers and all the people rejoiced, and they brought in their contribution and dropped it into the chest until they had finished. It happened that whenever the chest was brought to the king's officer by the Levites, and they saw that the money was substantial, that the king's scribe and the chief priest's officer would come and empty the chest and pick it up and return it to its place. They did this daily and collected a large amount of money. The king and Jehoiada gave it to those who did the work of the house of the service of the house of the Lord. And he hired masons and carpenters to restore the house of the Lord, and also workers in iron and bronze to repair the house of the Lord. So the workmen labored, and the repair work progressed in their hands, and they restored the house of God according to its specifications and strengthened it. When they had finished, they brought the rest of the money before the king and Jehoiada. And it was made into utensils for the house of the Lord, utensils for service and the burnt offerings, and pans and utensils of gold and silver. And he offered burnt offerings in the house of the Lord continually all the days of Jehoiada. Now Jehoiada reached a good old age, and he died. He was 130 years old in his death. And he buried him in the city of David with the kings, because he had done well in Israel and for God and his house. But after the death of Jehoiada, the officials of Judah came and bowed down to the king, and the king listened to them. And they abandoned the house of the Lord, the God of their fathers, and served the Asherim and the idols. So wrath came upon Judah and Jerusalem for the guilt of theirs. Yet he sent prophets to them to bring them back to the Lord, and they testified against him, but they would not listen. Joash, murder, son of Jehoiada. Then the Spirit of God covered Zechariah, the son of Jehoiada, the priest, like clothing, and he stood above the people and said to him, "This is what God has said. Why do you break the commandments of the Lord and do not prosper? Because you have abandoned the Lord, he has also abandoned you." So they conspired against him, and at the command of the king they stoned him to death in the courtyard of the house of the Lord. So Joash the king did not remember the kindness which Zechariah's father Jehoiada had shown him, but he murdered his son. And Zechariah died. As Zechariah died, he said, "May the Lord see and avenge." Aram invades and defeats Judah. Now it happened at the return of the year that the army of the Arameans came up against Joash, and they came to Judah and Jerusalem, destroyed all the officials of the people from among the people, and sent all their spoils to the king of Damascus. Indeed, the army of the Arameans came with a small number of men, yet the Lord handed a very great army over to them, because Judah and Joash had abandoned the Lord, the God of their fathers. So they executed judgment on Joash. When they left him, for they had left him very sick, his own servants conspired against him because of the blood of the son of Jehoiada the priest, and they murdered him on his bed. So he died and they buried him in the city of David, They did not bury him in the tombs of the kings. Now these are the men who conspired against him. Zabad, the son of Shimeath of the Ammonites, and Jehozabad, the son of Shimrith the Moabites. As to his sons and the many pronouncements against him in the rebuilding of the house of God, behold, they are written in the treatise of the book of the kings. Then his son Amaziah became king in his place. The word of the Lord. Praise be to God. Okay, folks. So, just like Asa, and hopefully not Jehoshaphat, but maybe, I'm hoping not Jehoshaphat, but, you know, um, Joash does not follow the Lord all the way. He did at the beginning. Jehoiada was his counsel. But it turns out, well, he even told the priests, go get money from all the people of Israel so that we can rebuild the house of the Lord. They did not act quickly, and the king said, go, get. Then everybody made their contribution, and they repaired all the work in the house of the Lord. Even the utensils and silverware and all the stuff that was inside. Then Jehoiada passes away, and then the officials of Judah convinced the king to follow the Asherim plus idols. And then Zechariah comes in and says, because you abandoned the Lord, he's also abandoned you. So Joash becomes angry at this and kills Zechariah, Jehoiada's son. And then because of this, another tribe comes in and successfully invades Judah. And Joash was murdered, and he was dishonorably buried. Not in the tombs of the kings because he had abandoned the Lord, which, for that reason, he did not follow the Lord completely all the way all his life. He used to, but not anymore. Hey, Christian, God bless you. Welcome in. How's it going? Indonesia. We just finished reading Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I don't know what to expect this summer. I would definitely love to go on vacation, but I also recognize that I have to get some internships done. Or one internship. One. Didn't do too much today, so pretty relaxed day. I taped an episode of BizCast BizCast today about the recent faulty Windows updates that have been a nightmare to deal with. Oh, that makes me. I was bored. I was in Victoria I searched error screens misspelled, and funny enough, this is Windows 10, but I'm going to show you one of the screens. This is from the text of Windows 10's blue screen of death. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Um, oh, so this is for mope ill formation about this issue in Roskville fix visit this URL. Qtopco. Is this the correct URL or not? HTTPS windows.com qtop code. Nope, it's stop code, and this is where it redirects me here to Windows 11. So, pretty crazy. When I was in college, thankfully, I only have to do one internship. It didn't go very well, but at least I got the credit I needed for it. Yeah. Um, for my degree, electrical engineering, and I've put myself in a rather awkward situation. Electrical engineering is one of those degrees where you have to have plenty of experience in order to be successful. So, you know, you could say I'm behind, but at least that one internship, it may go a long way. May very well. Windows has been broken these recent years. Even the error messages are broken. Yeah. I'm going to show you another uh, another error screen. Uh-oh. Does the image... We want to get the image. Just the image. All right. Let's go. This is what we're going to see. An error occurred transferring exectuian. Apparently, this was from Windows Longhorn, which was, you know, the the code name for Windows Vista. I used to love the website called Broken Signs. I used to love the website called This Is Broken from years ago when they showed up messed up things like that. Funny signs, messed up websites and errors, road sign, etc. Gave me good love. Maybe it's still up. I'm not sure. I'm gonna check it out. Hmm. Rocket surgery made easy. Okay, I found a website called thisisbroken.co.uk. It might be something else, but it's just about books from. Oh, what? Link rot. That was before brain rot was even a thing. That side until 2007. Wow. Well, I guess it's gone. And then 2016. Yeah. On Instagram, I posted a song that, or not posted a song, but posted a note with music that sounds like people fighting with swords and guns and money bags. 2008 was when I first discovered this as broken. Mm. So that was before your your joy happened. 1 year before you know, your spiel or whatever it's called. All right. Yes. All right. Hmm. Gonna enable. Actually discovered sophomore year just months before. Oh, that's even better. I'm eating some Greek yogurt that my mom made for me. I can't believe she put cottage cheese in it. I say usually cottage cheese tastes like cheese with water, but it actually tastes good in the yogurt because of the creaminess that already exists. What? You couldn't open the file because the file's not open? It's like saying program failed successfully or task failed successfully. You know those memes that say task failed successfully? Mhm. Well, some of these errors can be crazy and nonsensical. An unknown error occurred. That's also nonsensical. Um, I remember a channel called Dan Oct One. Um, let's see, back rows. He's a guy from Dallas, I believe. Oh, Dallas. That's where I went. Yeah, he's from Dallas, Texas. Um, give me just a moment. Okay. He's testing out a virus. He tests out viruses on his channel. Now, I want to show y'all something. Check this. I'm gonna. It says insert your now. Insert your now. What does that even mean? Insert your now. Sorry if I was a little bit too loud, but it was asking to insert some CD-ROM. Yeah, it was supposed to say insert your Windows 2000 professional CD-ROM now, but it just says insert your now. I mean, if it says insert your now, then you bet you have to be scared. It has a picture of a disk and its drive, but not the description. Yeah, crazy stuff like that. Huh. Back in 2003, I had a new computer running Windows 2000 Pro. Yeah. Um, that Windows version was mainly for professional environments. Hey, John Hat, God bless, or John the Blue Hat guy. I mean, God bless and welcome in. Um, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Windows 2000. Well, Windows NT 4.0 was 1996. The very first Windows. No, not the very first, but the second. So that means Windows 2000 is the first, or sorry, the third Windows NT. Um, yeah, it was. You could say that indeed. It even had sometimes a similar boot screen to Windows 2000 if you had some sort of specialized boot option selected. I live in California. We have the strictest gun laws in America. Y'all do? What do you think of that? Good, good. Oh no. I'm just looking back at KBMJ. Let's see what we got in KBNJ. Listen live. Oh, the proof of your love playing. We live in California. It has strict gun laws like Europe, but still crime there. So you believe those gun laws don't work there? I mean, when it comes to people who are committing crimes, they won't follow the law. So those gun laws are not going to. Uh, it sounds counterintuitive, I know, but technically, it's like those laws are not being applied to them. You know what I mean? So, um, oh, come on. Visiting animals. Yes. Gun laws will not stop crime. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Blake. Well, God bless you and welcome in. Everybody, give it up for Blake. 42 cent hike. He had surgery recently, and I'm not sure if he's still recovering, but he had some pretty tough surgery there, and I hope that you're already healed. U.S. versus Canada tomorrow at 6 a.m. Uh-oh. Yeah. That means if I were to watch that, I would have to wake up in 7 hours. Ooh, baby. Um, Watching it? Well, I'm not sure, if I woke up at around the time the game's on, yes. But, we'll see. We will see. How about y'all? You think y'all be tuning in to NBC to watch US versus Canada at the Olympics? Remember, the Olympics are basically like the World Cup of of hockey. I don't know why I played, uh-oh. Also, my back is good. I stood 2 hours in a student section for basketball at our rival school, and we lost 68 to 67. Out. Well, it's great to hear that your back is good. That's perfect. I was listening to a story from Katie Nicole, and she had surgery for her scoliosis, and they had to break her spine, and that caused some pain for her, and that caused her. She even got to the point where she attempted to end her life with pills, but those pills went on the ground. They spilled on the ground. Free for all ensued, and eventually she realized God was not done with her. So therefore, she continued. I won't be up until at least 7:30 or 8. Yeah, I really don't get up until like 10 or something. But if you're awake at 8, then you could very much, I assume, catch the game. First week was bad, but next week was better. Oh, yeah, man, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. I don't know what a back surgery feels like, nor do I want to know. But kudos to you for being strong. Um, as I show you one of these funny highway signs to cheer you up. Oh, it wants me to download. Boring. And then what is this? Manassas welfare. Oh, this is from Texas. Welfare, Texas. Oh, it's from Kendall County. Looks like. Oh, it's up above San Antonio. My church service starts at 10. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Usually, if they end in regulation, they would end before. Uh, um, they would end in like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something. So yeah. Where you live then? I live in Texas. Um, our church service ends at 12 p.m. It is a 2 hour service. Mm, yeah. Over there in Kingsville, the Baptist student service um, on Thursday, it goes from 7:30 to 9, basically. And then the Chi Alpha, which is, I believe, part of Assemblies of God, which is a Pentecostal service, that goes from 8 o'clock to 9, maybe a little bit over. Actually, I don't know when exactly it starts. It starts, I believe, before 8, goes on for a little while, but yeah. Um, what else? And then the Catholic, oh yeah, Mass, Catholic Mass. It goes from here in Port Lavaca. It goes an hour and 15 minutes, the usual time, and then over there in Kingsville, it's a lot quicker. It feels like 45 to 50 minutes. As for non-denominational churches, I'm not sure. I think there's a non-denominational church somewhere called Kingdom. I think it's a non-denominational, but I haven't been there. Um, Here's something I learned on the 21st. By the way, welcome to another day. Apparently, Episcopal Church and Anglican Church, they're used interchangeably. I had no clue that that was used interchangeably. So basically, it's kind of like Lutheran, where they mix Catholic influences with, well, Lutheran is more a child of Catholicism, and Anglican is incorporating lots of the Catholic influences, but also remaining with a core of Protestantism. Over there in Canada, they call it an Anglican church, and also they call it here um, Anglican church sometimes. Other times it's called the Episcopal Church. But Anglican and Lutheran, they're both um, the closest. Lutheran and Anglican, they're the closest things to Catholicism, while remaining a true Protestant church. Yeah, but that's something I learned. Okay. Um, so, oh, let's look at some more signs here. All right, so what do we have to prove here? We've got Loop 461 on exit 13 of whatever interstate this is. New Deal. One of the signs was destroyed, apparently. Um, Stay off the naughty list. Obey speed limit. Camp in the woods, not the left lane. Let's go, Barbie. Buckle up. Yes, you can. Well, be blunt. Will be blunt. Don't drive high. New year, new you. Follow the speed limit. Um, what else? Slow down. May the fourth be with you. Puff, puff. Pass the keys to a designated driver. Feeling sick? Stay home. Call a doctor. Horns up. Phones down. Hook 'em horns. Four eyes in Mississippi. Two eyes on the road. What else? Text it and try it. Say it. I'm the problem. It's me. Santa sees you when you're speeding. Camp in the woods, not the left lane. Drowsy, crash on a couch, not a road. Who hates speeding tickets? Raise your right foot. Wow. You're someone's pot of gold. Drive sober. What's worse than pineapple on pizza? Watermelon on pizza. But no, they say car wreck. Yes, that's actually true. Only Rudolph should be lit. Drive high. Get DUI. Turkey. Oh, here's the sign that I saw in Corpus Christi. Turkey says buckle, buckle. Buckle, 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 buckle. You're not a turkey. Don't drive. Basted. Wow. I remember a year ago when driving to Conroe for Thanksgiving, the digital sign said, mashed potatoes, not your head. Don't speed, or something like that. We can look it up and see if it uh, mashed potatoes. Oh, here it is. Mashed potatoes, not your head. Buckle up. Mashed potatoes, not your head. Buckle up. Mashed potatoes, buckle up. I like my potatoes mashed and my driver sober. Yeah. Gobble, gobble, go easy on the throttle. Use ya blinka. This one's in Massachusetts, this edition. But tailgating is for football, not highways. Looks like other places were using the same message. It's probably a message from the U.S. Department of Transportation, if I had to guess, because the amount of people using it, or amount of states using it, is insane. I thought it would be just one state or another, but no, it's multiple states. Which is surprising. Hmm. Oh, I wonder if they would be inclined to use something biblical, uh, highway signs, biblical, electronic highway signs, biblical. Huh. Well, I didn't find something like that, but here's something that I found. Toward zero, death is a journey. Don't stop believing. And 1669 deaths this year on Texas roads. Here's another one. Buckle up, windshields hurt. Oh, hi, whoa, watch your speed. Visiting the in laws, slow down, get there late. Dang, they really hate in laws. Mm. Mm. Santa has cops out on the roadways every holiday season. Normally, they aren't giving out coal for speeders; they're giving out tickets. Yeah, this may or may not be fake, but regardless, something like that I was trying to look for. But also incorporating the same message of buckle up and don't speed, or what that would be. Maybe something like speeding is a sin, or I don't know. Oh well. Well, what's playing on KBNJ right now? Every way. Gypsy. Well, here's something I found out um, a few hours ago. Let me just pull this up. These signs are hilarious. I can see why they have to stop using them. Yeah, they've become more of a meme, of a mockery, instead of something they actually follow. That's why. What else? Um, yeah, that's why. They have to suck all the fun out of that because although it might be fun, if they're not following, what use is it? So understand it. Have you ever paid attention to the NHL? Whenever they score a goal, sometimes there will be um, spotlights that shine on the players, and also whenever they score, there might be some, you know, spotlights that flash on the goaltender's net. I think that's pretty cool. Um, Let me see if I can pull up this first. I never really noticed the spotlights actually. Well, I'm going to show you an example shortly if I can get this to play the right video. It's not this one though. Let's go here. All right. This will be a great. This. What was the worst site you've visited? Um, any site that involves pornography. I'll say that right now. Um, or any of those sites that suggest like some weird stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but just for the sakes of pornography, I haven't been there in a long time, and that's great. The stars need to bring back the darkness music and use flashing spotlights. Yeah, here's what I'm going to show you. This guy scores. You see, it's shining there. Oh, and look at the goaltender's net. See how it's flashing right there? It's flashing. It's also using different colors, blue or white or whatever, and red. And potentially also green and other colors. Now we compared it to, give me just a moment, 2008 or 2007 actually. Let me remove this just in case I want to get this right. That was back in the 2006-2007 season. The season before, they actually just had a red light on the goaltender's net that would just stay on. As for this one, they score a goal right there. See that spotlight going on the player who scored. Meanwhile, the goaltender, the strobe, and then it glows red at the end. But yeah, it was pretty popular back then, and of course they evolved. They still use spotlights, but they use it in many different ways now. They have more spotlights. What is a movie where you were excited but you watched it was disappointing? Um, I don't know. I'm not a movie person, to be honest with you, so that's kind of tough. I guess Barbie the movie, just because it's not really disappointing, but I guess they use politics quite a bit there. That is a very cool effect they use there. That reminds me, flashing spotlight reminds me. Why is there a random building flashing strobe light yesterday? I mean, where you going to the gym? Probably a malfunctioning light, or it's just a strobe there. I'm not sure why they would have it there. They probably need to replace it. It's malfunctioning, I assume. Maybe I'm wrong, but you know, that is an epic way to put a player in the spotlight, so to speak. LOL. Oh yeah, they're putting him in the spotlight for sure. Um, and then back in 2011, or no, 2009, I believe, or 2010 or 11, one of those years, they brought back the red light in the Dallas Stars instead of a flashing, strobing light. They have just a steady red light that fades in. Of course, again, they changed it, but they changed it from time to time. Then it turned into a red, red, blue, or actually the blue might be white. So it's either blue or white, and then red, alternating back and forth, which is what the Washington Capitals also used once upon a time. This is an epic way to put a player in the spotlight, so to speak. I watched the Wuthering Heights movie. I thought it was going to be a cool and interesting 1800s theme film, but I watched as a weird romance film. Nothing to my expectations. The film was disappointing. Yeah, lots of um, duds, I guess. I've not watched a movie in a long time, so I'm not aware of the many movies that are there, other than, I guess, there's a Michael Jackson movie that's out there. It's called Michael. Um, why haven't I watched one? I just don't find movies interesting anymore. Or, well, maybe when I was young, I watched a few movies here and there, but right now I'm not a movie guy. No, I don't watch movies, nor do I watch TV really, except for sports. That's the only time I watch TV. Other than that, I don't really watch that much. I'm just, on YouTube. Kind of light of actually make a great special effect to get people hyped up. But I'm going to theorize they probably stopped to keep people who are photosensitive in mind. Yeah. You could get epileptic seizures from from flashing lights, strobes, um, all that. So yeah, definitely. Um, I only watch movies now when I go to theaters because when the experience feels good. But I was watching movies on TV. It was unwatchable. I don't watch TV anymore. I just watch YouTube. Same. Growing up, I never really was a habitual theater goer, but I do like going to the theater. I do. Mostly for the experience. But most of the time, the movies we end up watching are worth watching. So yeah, there are different editions. I think the Philadelphia Flyers used to have at one point an orange light, and then the Sabres one time they used alternating yellow and blue lights, and they've evolved. Now they have uh more lights, but they're using it in drastically different ways sometimes. At least that's what I think. I'm not actually. Let's check on one of them. Hmm, what would be a good team to look for? The Calgary Flames, when they score a goal, they've done this for a long time, but when they score a goal, the whole arena turns red for a split second, the color of the flames, and then it starts shining. Um, what else? Home goals 2009. I think 2009 is a great year for NHL. Some of them don't use those effects, but most of them, I believe, do. 2000. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that is true. I watched 28 Years Later, and 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It was made for an adult audience, but as an underage person, I didn't find it scary. I loved it. Besides, it was not made for kids and teens. I love the movie despite being for a mature audience. This proves age rating are useless to me. I don't care for the age rating. It interests me. It does. R-rated movies didn't make me scared. Well, you know how movies they can show nudity, they can have inappropriate language and violence. And those are not things that are glorifiable in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, that's why. Um, there's even a Reddit called Discuss Spotlights Shining on Goal, Scored on Goalies. Let me show you. What is the best special light effect you ever seen by any NHL team? Um, Probably the Calgary Flames because they have it it glows red when the Flames score for a moment, and then it goes back off. It's not unsporting. It may suck but goalies get the brunt of it, and if they're not in the old building, they're going to get it more. In college hockeys, most schools have a sieve chant. The students be sitting behind the visiting team's goalie will just lay into them if they let a goal in. Example chants might be, "It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Loser, loser. You let the whole team down. You let the whole team down." I'm having too much fun. I've known that for a long time, ever since I was a young kid watching the Dallas Stars, but I never really put some thought into it until now. But it's something which I do enjoy grooving, you know. I will say that many of them, they often look like they're playing or they're dancing in a concert or something rather than, they're playing a game. But nevertheless, the atmosphere is pretty good. They should flash green lights on the player who scored a goal and form a star shaped on the ice with the darkness music playing, of course. Let's see if they do that. Dallas Stars goal. Maybe they do that. I I don't have a clue, but it's worth a shot to check. Well, it's a white light here, and I'm just checking last season. I can't see the net there. They probably have a green star at center ice or something, if I had to guess. I guess they do have a little bit of green on the goaltender's net, but it's very faint, so you can't see it. Oh, it's bouncing around, that's why. It's going all around the arena. Let me show y'all. You can't really see it, but they just scored. You can see very split glimpses of green throughout the celebration. Of course, you see that as well. But oh, maybe this will give us a little bit of an insight to what they did last season. Hmm. Oh, well. The gold bug looks like it was off green, like it wasn't the exact shade of green for the stars. Yeah, um, it's possible. It also may look different on TV than it does in person. Um, the jersey, that's what I'm referring to. But I do agree, it is um, a bit of a mismatch. Oh, okay. So what I found out is they have some white lights going around in patterns and some green as well. Although the green's not prominent by any means. What do I do nowadays? I'm gonna see. Really takes me back. I miss watching the Stars games on TV like we did last year. ESPN Plus is such a hog. Well, for most of the playoffs, you're gonna see um, most of the games on ESPN and on TNT. So rest assured, you're gonna see the Stars there. Oh, I'm going to show you some of the current Stars. Um, right there, you're going to pay attention. You're going to see some very uh, blurry or very faint, but shade of green. It's very small, but you know what? You might call me crazy for saying this, but I think that maybe an NFL type broadcasting deal could be beneficial to, getting our teams for local, you know, how the NFL, instead of having regional sports networks broadcast the teams for them, they have, you know, the national networks will broadcast them, yes, regionally, but without the regional sports networks, they have to sign a contract in order to get, um, the networks. Like for the Houston Texans, it would be either CBS, Fox, or if it's a primetime game on NBC or ESPN/ABC. So, what if the NHL did some kind of broadcasting deal like that? Not only the NHL, but the NBA and the MLB, perhaps. That could work out. I saw the shade of green. It can be missed if not looking closely. Yeah, you'll have to watch really closely in order to spot it. Let me see if I can tell uh, who does the in-game light effects for the Dallas Stars. I'm going to tell them on X. I'm just going to say, Dallas Stars, please do such and such. Dallas Stars. When we score a goal, may there be prominent green light strobing, I guess. I just enjoy strobing. It might be a little excessive and, well, on the net and green light shining on the score. I just told them. Contracting out the games would be a good way to give the better viewership, especially for those outside the viewing area. Yeah, that would be a great method. Um, why they haven't evolved to that, I'm not sure. I guess because the people really love their regional broadcasts so much that they would miss the announcers and graphics and stuff. But I think this would work for. I think this proposal would work for a better coverage, so to speak. Yeah, there's plenty of rain. It's just so not prominent. You can't really see it. Oh, won't you? Like I said, yesterday's RSNs have a questionable future. Quite murky, honestly, with this, especially with all the cord cutting. Oh, so maybe the AHL has some grounds to establish that broadcasting model. They should do like the CBS. They already have ESPN/ABC, and now they could incorporate some NBC again if they wanted to. They have the TNT, which honestly, even though their presentation is pretty good, they're cable only, so you're not going to get local stuff. It's going to have to be national broadcasts if you have cable. If you're if you don't have that channel, you're screwed. You can't get it on local. Huh. Okay. See. Yep.
Un poco estás en Leipzig, estás en...
See. Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. Just a moment.
Bastante, por favor.
Okay.
Veo mañana.
Yeah. I was going to show y'all the Dallas Stars. If you look at their jersey, you could see how the logo has a beveling effect, much like the Texas Star found in the Church's Chicken 1993 logo, which is one of my favorite logos there. It had beveling, which is fantastic. By the way, do you prefer this new like silver instead of gold, or do you prefer the gold from back in the Stanley Cup winning days? The same jersey they used when they won the Stanley Cup. I never noticed the beveling before. From far away, it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, it's subtle, but pretty good effect. Hmm. Mm. What else can I say other than what a week it's been? Um, After multiple days failing to find the song I was looking for, finally found it. Of course, it was pretty late. Ooh. Well, also glad that the Stars have been doing so well lately. Hold on. Let me pull up right here the stats. Yeah, the Stars won their last 6 games. 6 games. Last time they lost was against the Blue Jackets. I think they were going on a bit of a downside. They were losing quite a bit. And now they're sitting at 77 points in the Central Division, third there. So yeah. Will the NHL adopt a NFL style broadcast? Where the games are covered by major networks. NFL broadcasting by national networks. I wonder what is going on with the beef with the Stars and the Mavericks. Um, Stars, Mavericks lawsuit. Hmm. Not much has happened, except they claimed that the Stars claimed that the Mavericks tried to move to Las Vegas. Let me ask the NHL and see on X. I'm probably not going to get a response, but regardless, are you going to adopt a national network exclusive deal now that RSNs are falling apart? Okay, that loss was quite crazy, especially Stars didn't want to engage any problems and want to remain cordial with the Mavs. Yeah, I guess right now they're at a stalemate. Oops. Stars want to possibly move to Plano by 2031. Plano. Isn't that where Frito Lay's is from? Plano? Yeah, they're headquartered in Plano, Texas. Frito Lay. That's the name. Oh, speaking of Dallas, I still can't. I compare going to see Jamie McDonald. I know I keep talking about, oh, I went home all the way to Dallas to see Jamie McDonald. I know. I keep saying that, but I truly say this. It reminds me of, back when I was in Buffalo Wild Wings when I went to see Riley. It's kind of, the same boat. It was someone you went to see and someone you really wanted to go see, and you saw her or saw him or whatever. And now that you're back, it no longer feels the same. It just feels like some kind of, I guess, pipe dream. Yes, Frito-Lay, JCPenney, and Dr. Pepper, all headquartered in Plano. But yes, if I ever see who again, it will be the same experience. It's exactly how I felt when I got home back. It, I was extremely pleased, but also realized the moment was over and the excitement began to fade. For me, it's more like that satisfactory feeling is gone, and suddenly you feel empty again. Suddenly, it's like nothing happened. You're Especially, when I go to Tennessee, I describe it this way. I, I, it feels like I just went into an inflatable city or whatever. Some kind of city made, like, some kind of inflatable city. Like, you ever go into one of those, um, parties where they have these inflated castles where the children go inside and play around. That's what it reminds me of. kind of like this. They're bouncing up and down. Feels like something that was created and then taken down. And suddenly, I start comparing going to see Jamie McDonald to going to Buffalo Wild Wings to go see Riley. Yes, and also in a way when I went to see Madison as well. But I just realized this just a few hours ago. For real. At the same time, I was glad it happened. That moment really made my day. It's just like the bounce house metaphor. Same thing. As soon as it was gone, it felt like nothing happened. Yeah, as the saying goes, don't be, don't, uh, don't cry because it's over. Be glad or be happy because it happened. And I guess my life will never feel the same. Two experiences that I might never get to cherish again. Glad they lasted as long as they did. So, and I'm glad you got to get your joys in as well. All right. It is 1:11 a.m. I think we're gonna call it because it is late. For some reason, each time Metro comes, he's now like, no me comas, no me comas. I'll keep praying for her every day as her birthday approaches. Yeah, the same person you got butterflies for back at lunch. Yeah. And I'm glad you remember her birthday because um because that's all I can say. Because and if you say you're gonna keep on praying for her, we'll pray for her as well. Why not? Jay Shorts was here as well. Jay Shorts said at the beginning of the stream, well, not the beginning, but when he got here, he was like, play Ram Ranch. I'm like, I don't have Ram Ranch. So Metro was here, Jay Schwartz was here, and then Christian arrived. And John the Blue Hat guy was also here. Alrighty. I know I didn't ask, but I'll pray. Why not? Walk in. Dear Father, thank you. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for these experiences and being able to talk out our daily lives. Thank you, most importantly, though, for this outlet in which we can share the Bible with many different people. And we just pray that all the messages, Lord, that you need, that you are to reach to other people, that people may receive it with glory and fear of you, with awe, rather, and that they may see your Son Jesus, so that they may give up their sinful ways and start following you. Right now, we pray for our birthday girl who is going to, be, I'm not sure how many years of age, but bless her day, Lord, and be with her and remind her of the beautiful times in high school. I know Christian really would love to retouch moments with her. You've got it once, you've done it twice, and why won't you do it 3 times, Lord? Help them get in touch again. And that's all. Also pray for self-control for myself, Lord. More of that in just a moment. But we lift up these prayers to you, Jesus, so that in your name you may speak these prayers into existence. We thank you, and in your name we pray again. Amen. Okay, we are done, so tomorrow is the last day, or, well, it's really today because it's 22nd right now. But this next game is the final game of USA, or not USA hockey, but Olympic hockey, because it's the gold medal match, Canada and United States. So let's see who wins. Uh, I'll be obviously cheering for my United States, but may the best win. All right, folks. Let's go home. Let's go home to bed. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, Metro and Christian. And Jay Shorts and John. Sleep deep, rest and shine bright, and go in peace, and seek the love of the Lord. Now, good night, brother. God bless you. Thank you. And stay tuned because soon I'm going to be working on my new blog, my first ever blog on YouTube. It's probably going to be a short one, but nevertheless, stay tuned. All right? And then we'll continue with Second Chronicles from next one. Go in peace and seek the love of the Lord.